forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Wrestling with Things. It's 2020. Keep up with all our content. We will be providing you with all sorts of interview content in conversation on the sports and entertainment world. Like our Facebook page at Wrestling with Things and subscribe to us on YouTube at Wrestling with Things. All right, let's get right into it. Sammy, a lot of talented artists of all kinds, all different styles and flavors across this decade in the 2010s. Let me hear your top 5 hip-hop artists of this decade.
From start to finish, I'm gonna start from the bottom like you did last episode. My 5 would be Rick Ross, because from an OG perspective on the last era and carrying over to the new era, he was the perfect guy who did it the best when it comes to like last generation type guys, last era type guys who was putting in the serious work, mainstream, the rap level, great albums, great singles. He carried that over in terms of the before decade to the now decade, and he had artists under him that was popping. For the trap, for the 4, I'm gonna pick Future. Future held it down for the trap.
I believe Future's my 4 too. He's on. Yeah, I think he's my 4 actually.
Yeah, he put for the trap artists, for the party songs, for all the songs that's gonna make these women dance out here. Future definitely did that better than anybody else in that type of sound. For the 2 and the 3, these guys, I'm gonna say them simultaneously because they're kind of similar to me. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, for the Black Power movement, for the activist sound, for the storytelling, held it down. They had singles. They had good albums. I got to give them their credit. I got to give them their due. But the number one man, there's no introduction. Overall wise, in every avenue, he just straight up killed it. Drake, he from top to bottom, the man has just had a flawless decade. No hits, no nothing. You know what I mean?
Okay. We got a pretty similar list, and I respect it. I feel like most people won't have Future on their 5, but if you're being totally unbiased, he has to be. And I'm gonna be honest. He's not an artist I really check for. But when I was thinking of my list, I'm like, dog, I can't leave him off, bro. You hear him in every club. You hear him even if you hear a loud whip driving by your house, you hear probably Future being played. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I could count so many times.
Especially when he first came out.
Yeah, especially in the summer. It's like he always got something to take over summers. He got tracks for days. His catalog's pretty crazy. But let me start with my 5 from bottom up. I'm going to say I respect the Ross pick, but I feel like I would have leaned more towards him for last decade. This might be a little controversial because I think people lost sight of how truly talented this man is when it comes to the craft of making music and making songs. Wale's my 5th for this decade.
What?
Yeah, Wale got the song for the women. He got songs for men to relate to. He got a lot of good amount of hits. Yo, I know it's not popular, but if you remember, and I remember vividly, Wale did a lot for the culture, especially in the beginning of the decade. He got all the men wearing foams. He got all the men wanting to write poetry. He got all the women getting all hot and bothered because of his poetry. He was that guy that every woman was like, oh my God, I want to go to the Wale concert. Oh my God, Wale's my baby daddy. He was that dude a lot of the decade. But you know what happened? Like around 2015, 2016-ish, people turned on him. So we kind of forgot how good he is. But I'm glad he made his latest project because he kind of came back a little bit. His latest piece was solid. But
hold on, hold on, hold on,
I think Wale's a very underrated
hold
just
on,
song maker. I just really do.
hold on. Before you continue with your list, you think Wale did more than Ross this decade?
Yeah.
And I got something
What?
to say.
I think if you really think about it, no disrespect
Impact.
to Ross,
Start the show.
he had a bigger impact.
What?
Wale, hold on. Is it not fair to say?
Danny,
If you
you
think,
ain't
think about it. Is it
Damn.
fair to say back from 2010 to about like 2013, 2014, when you named Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, Wale was the fourth man orbiting throughout those 4 years. Everybody's favorite mainstream wise, everybody's favorite artist was one of those four.
It was
If we're being
Ross.
real.
Ross
He wasn't
was
in that
before.
rotation as people's favorites.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We love Ross, but he was nobody's favorite.
Ross was putting out 10 times bigger hits than Wale at that time.
I don't know, man.
At that time, think about it. Aston Martin music.
He wasn't. That I still be bumping that shit,
Come on, bro.
But it's a lot of Wale shit I still be bumping. Like I really think you can't go wrong with either, but not to stick too much on. I don't want to make this the Wale.
He signs his checks.
Yo, nah, that ain't even relevant. Don't go there. Don't go there. Ross is a boss, like literally or figuratively. That wasn't just a nickname. He's a boss, but I think Wale, somewhere along the line, we started to forget how good he is, and we're starting to forget the totality of hits that he brought to the table. He has a good catalog of songs.
He does. No, he does.
Like, he's not everyone's cup of tea.
If we extend to 10, he's definitely there. I respect Wale, but he can't be 5.
Number 4 was Future for me. Like I said, I think he's just very versatile, and he almost always has a hit. And the top 3 is essentially the same as yours. I got Cole at 3, Kendrick at 2, and because those guys, when you want to listen to conscious rappers with a different type of message that are gonna also give you bars and that are gonna also give you phenomenal, vivid storytelling, I think those 2 are at the top, and they will probably continue to be so going into the next decade. But man, I know everybody out there is good. That there's gonna be people out there that thinks we're being predictable and thinks that we're brown nosing. But if Drake's not your number 1, I don't want to see your list. If he's not number 1, I really don't want to see a list. Drake is the artist of the decade. He dominated. He is the voice of this generation. He has given us too many classics, too many great songs, too many strong albums. He's done it all. He is the voice of this generation. You could hate him for hiding his kid. You could hate him because Pusha T beat him. You could hate him because he's light-skinned. You could hate him because he talks proper in his interviews and sounds different in interviews than he does over his music. But let's be factual. Y'all be listening to Drake behind closed doors. Those that hate him the most really look up to him and emulate him the most. And admit it. Stop being bitter. Stop being sour. Drake dominated this decade. My MCM.
And to be honest, most of the biggest records came from him. So it's like we can't even be. It's not a biasness if you really go back from 2010 all the way to now and check what was hot. You're gonna hear a bunch of Drake, a bunch of it.
Too much almost. Too much. You get sick of it.
Literally, like. It's not even. He's not my all-time favorite, but it is what it is. He's just that great.
Yeah, definitely, it is what it is. And I just have to reiterate those things because it's not about a bias or favorite thing. I see when this culture when you've dominated or you've done good for so long. people run to social media and talk about how they can't stand you so much. And Drake's probably the number one dude that receives that. Man, stop telling me you can't stand the dude, bro. Cause I know some of the people that do that really listen to this dude. That they really can't help but dance when they hear Drake come on in the club or wherever they're at. Like, let's stop this game. Let's stop acting like we're flipping the script. It's okay to like and respect Drake. It's okay to respect greatness.
True, it's true. But I still can't believe you put Wale in there, man.
Nah, I gotta show him
that
some.
That kind of
love,
breaks
man.
my heart.
I got to show him some love. He put on for the culture, bro. If you really think about it.
Wow. I would even put Meek ahead of Wale.
Oh my
If
God,
we're talking about a decade.
that's embarrassing. And I like Meek.
If we're talking about the full decade,
nah, I don't know about that, man. Why? Because he
was harder for longer.
It's hard to compare those two because they're so different. But I wouldn't put Meek. Maybe I'm letting current Meek tarnish my judgment a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I thought about him, but I view him more as an honorable mention.
Wow, that's crazy.
Maybe a 6 or 7 if I went there.
Wow. Wale, huh? He wasn't dominant for too long. I mean,
he was. I'm telling you, he was part of the trio of Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick. He made that trio a 4-man thing. When you were talking about mainstream, recognizable household names in the hip hop industry, he was really that. He still is that, but he's just not. He's not as mainstream and consistent anymore. I'm gonna be honest, but he'll give you a little something here and there.
Wow, you think he had a better run than 2 Chainz?
Yo, I didn't think about him.
Seriously though.
It's funny. I was saying in the whip the other day, he's underappreciated. But
what about Big Sean?
Big Sean. You might have me. If you said Big Sean, I would have to shut up and take it. Big Sean's underappreciated as well.
I don't know. I think both of them dudes might take Wale a little.
Sean might take Wale if I sat down and thought about it.
What about 2 Chainz?
Nah, I'm not giving 2 Chainz that.
For real?
Nah. He had his time in the he had his bangers.
He had a long time. If you really think
long
about it.
Time.
He did.
Yeah.
He had a long stretch of hot music. If we're talking about hot music.
From 2010 to like 2014, 2015, Wale was one of the faces of the new generation of artists. He was
not really a face though. He was great.
He's one of the top faces.
He did his thing, but he was never really a face.
Yo,
if you really think about it.
Big Sean stumps.
On a consistent note.
I think Wale's inconsistency came towards the end of the decade, though, when him and MMG separated. I think that somewhat was the beginning of the end, but that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't qualify for me.
No, he qualifies. He qualifies. I just think there's guys that have better runs. That's all I'm saying. Like, if we're talking about like a straight stretch.
Well, get involved in the conversation, comment, like us on Facebook at Wrestling with Things, subscribe to us on YouTube at Wrestling with Things. Let us know who you think the rapper of the decade is, or even your favorite. Holla at your boys.